you for watching. It's Monday, so it's time for This Week in Film. First up is Central Intelligence, starring Kevin Hart and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Looks kind of like Ride Along, if you're familiar with those movies, except they traded Fuck the Police for Do You Smell What I'm Cooking? This is directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber, who I actually kind of like. He directed Dodgeball, one of the old Terry Tate sketches, as well as We're the Millers. So it'll serve its purpose. Also this week we have Finding Dory, which everybody's very excited about. I am still skeptical on, just because it's the kind of movie that doesn't really need a sequel. But the child in me who saw the original Finding Nemo and still loves it is in there telling me that it will be wonderful, which I'm sure it will. And finally, coming out is actually a limited release film, so it's not something you'll be able to see this week, but that you should definitely keep an eye out for down the road. It's a film called Tickled, and it's a documentary about an Australian writer who came upon this tickling competition. This media outlet was searching for 18 to 24-year-old men who would send in their headshots for an endurance tickling competition. They would get $1,500, be flown out to LA, all expenses paid sort of situation, and then they would be filmed tickling one another. And he looks for these kind of like oddities among the internet, and so he contacted this media outlet and was like, "Hey, I'd love to do a piece on you," and they wrote back to him saying that they did not want to be covered by a gay writer. So not only was it, obviously offensive, but it was very odd. So he decided to dig a little deeper, find out a bit more, make a documentary about it, and I'll include a trailer down in the description because it looks just so incredibly fascinating, like one of those weird, dark underworlds that you kind of want to exist, but don't really know a lot about. Well, here's a chance to learn a lot about it. Definitely watch the trailer. I don't want to say too much about it, partly because I don't know that much about it, honestly, until it comes out. Yeah. And then, in film history, today we can say happy birthday to Malcolm McDowell, who is most famous for his role in Clockwork Orange, but who you've probably seen somewhere else. He has over 250 acting credits, which includes voiceover work, so if you haven't seen him, you've probably heard him as well. And then on June 16th, we can finally remember George Reeves, who died in 1959 from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. It was ruled a suicide, but there is controversy behind it, as he did die sort of like at a party at his home. His fiancée and a couple of friends were there, and he went upstairs to his room. But apparently there was shoddy private investigator work. Everybody that was a witness was obviously drunk. So there's some controversy around it. And